Okay, so we are at, it's January 3rd, 2021. We're at Hanging Rock National Natural Landmark. A little bit of snow. I was going to try to get to the top of Hanging Rock taking the east approach, walking along the river. Water's up pretty high today, so it's not a whole lot of trail over here today. But a little bit of trail there is here is muddy and slick. I'm gonna try and not fall in the river as we see if we can make it around here. So here's a view of Hanging Rock here from the river. Okay. So Hanging Rock is part of what's left of a giant reef that used to be in the area. It's got layers of limestone and dolomite, and the dolomite is a really sturdy rock, and so it's been able to survive a lot of erosion. But underneath Hanging Rock, so there's normally a bunch of rocks right here in the river, big rocks, but they are all underwater today. Fair amount of graffiti down here too. But let me try and take this approach here, come around. So Hanging Rock, Wabash Reef, a National Natural Landmark since 1986. It is currently an acres property, Acres Land Trust. Okay, so we're gonna take this approach. So the trail, there is a trail that keeps going along the river for a little bit along there. Not many people take that trail. It doesn't get very far until you start running into things blocking the trail. But we're going to take this approach. We'll ascend Hanging Rock from the east, and then we'll descend on the west side. But let's get up here through the snow. When we get to the top, I'll tell you the legend of Hanging Rock. There's a little bit of a trail on that side, but it sort of ends, so we're not gonna go up that way. Keep going this way. Get to the top of Hanging Rock. Okay. This is not sandstone. Point that out because it is slick when it's wet. Everything's wet right now, so I've got to be a little bit careful with my footing. Okay, let's go up over here. Okay, so almost there, and then we'll do a view while I tell you the story. Okay, So we're at the top of Hanging Rock. So I'll do a little bit of a panoramic while I tell the story here. So the legend is there's an Indian princess, and she was in love with two people, and they were trying to decide who should marry her. So she decided that to figure this out, she was to have the two warriors fight, and whoever won the fight, that's who would get to marry her. So two warriors came up here on top of Hanging Rock to fight, and in the fight, one of them threw the other over. So as he's falling, the princess realizes that's the one that she actually loves. So he falls, and he's down on the rocks underneath Hanging Rock, dying, and she sees him dying down there and realizes that's the one that she wants to be with. So she jumps off to go be with him and lands on the rocks, and with their dying breath they reach out and hold hands. So then the warrior that won realizes that he's killed his friend and he's killed his lover, and he's got nothing else to live for, so he jumps off Hanging Rock as well. So that's the legend of Hanging Rock. It's also used because it is a big old rock here on the river. It's been used as a waypoint, a guiding point for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. So people know where they are, right? It sticks out over the water. You can't really miss it. It's as you look around here, it is much taller than most of the surrounding landscape. So it does a pretty good job as a wayfinding mark as well. But yeah, so here's the top of Hanging Rock. With the snow, the rocks are a little bit slippery, so I'm not going to get too close to the edge, but I will pop out here for a second and get some looks down. Okay, so now we will start making our way down the west side of Hanging Rock. So we came up the east, which actually, there's another trail from the west that meets up with the way we got to the top here, but we're gonna go down this way, and here's hoping that I don't slip on the rocks. That is always a possibility. Hanging Rock is also popular with fishermen. They fish on the banks here. A couple fishermen out there today. Hanging Rock is also the Acres Preserve that I come out to at least once a month, sometimes a little more often, and I clear the trail. If there's fallen trees, I'll throw them off the trail, or cut them if I have to. If they're small, I just have a handsaw and I'll cut them, and then I pick up trash. Most of the trash is from the fishermen, I would guess. I pick most of it up along the river, and it's a lot of Mountain Dew bottles, old fishing line, beer cans. Okay, so I just want to point out here, this is what I'm trying to get down right now, so I'm going a little slow because they said the rocks are slick, so we're gonna try and get down these without fallen. And it's a pretty big hope right there, getting down these without falling right now. Oh, a little bit of a slip there, but I recovered. Okay. Just like 2 more steps and I should be good. We're gonna sit down here because this rock is pretty slick. Okay. There we go. Made it down. It was a little slick, but slipped a little, but it didn't fall. Pretty good there. Okay. Okay. If you notice right now, not a whole lot of trash here, right? It's because, as I said, I come pick stuff up, but there's also usually not much trash up on this part. It's almost all down by the river. So, okay. Let's see if we can make it back to the cars without slipping too much here. Okay. So that is that's a quick tour of Hanging Rock. Short video, not a lot of trails here, but an interesting story and geologically a very important place. So